You're listening to Kelly and Steve, and this is coupled with chaos.
90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After, Season 8, Episode 20, Tell All, Part 1.
Yes, I was actually looking forward to this, unlike the episodes.
Yeah, and for, I think, the entire world, no Max, no Discovery Plus in real time. Means we had to sit through commercials.
It wasn't so bad, though.
Yeah, we just got up and did other things that we would do after the show and before we recorded. Mm-hmm. My big thought of when we were watching the previews to the next episode, I really thought, as Kobe and Emily are talking about Kobe's ex-girlfriend, I thought, why are you two here? We don't want to hear any of this.
Yeah.
This is nothing. There's so much, I'm going to say, meat going on, right?
Mm-hmm, right.
So much real stuff. I think I don't even want to hear Rob and Sophie stuff because it's whatever. It's just childish, whatever.
Drivel.
But that was fun. Who cares about Kobe's ex-girlfriend?
Right.
Like, you know, you're sitting
From
around the room.
how many years ago?
Well,
and how many kids ago?
Like, I'm going to be a little more graphic than I probably want to be. This would be like Ed in a YMCA shower going, you know what? I just don't measure up to these other guys. Is what it would be. This beginning of them coming in to the house, did you like that? Before the show? Before the tell? I did too. I always want to see them in their...
Natural.
Yes. In a natural setting. It's like having a zoo and having a real habitat to where we can get how they
like
really
going
are.
on safari instead of visiting the zoo.
Yeah, that would be better, but we don't have that here.
Yeah.
How about the room situation? This is like Real Housewives. First one in the door picks the room.
That was so funny. But they didn't fight about it the way Housewives did.
Well, Jasmine had a little problem with it. Patrick seemed to have the theory, if we hurry up
and have sex in the bed
and knock one out.
Well, this was Ramona's theory. If I pee in the bed or in this bathroom, then nobody will come in.
She jumped in the shower is what Ramona did.
Yeah, and she would pee in there.
Yeah, this is my room. I've claimed it. I've marked the territory. First one in. How many rooms can this place have?
And she had all those pooping accidents.
Yeah, I'm never going in a room behind her because there's poop everywhere.
Yeah.
Between her...
Was it, a Mexico trip, and she had diarrhea, and
her
she pooped all over the
pooping,
floor. That was
Sonia
gross.
peeing.
Yeah.
There's always something going on.
Peeing in the driveway.
Yes, exactly.
Behind the bus. Yeah.
Something. There's always excrement or urine somewhere. You know, Jasmine into this whole thing comes in pretty hot for Ed and says, you know, if anybody comes after me, then, you know, I'm going to go after them. But then she just hits Ed hard from the beginning. Mm-hmm. No hug.
He has it coming.
No hug for Ed?
Yeah, I wouldn't hug him either. He's kind of gross.
Before we get deeper into it, I think this can probably be said. And I'm going to ask you the question, but I know the answer already. Is Ed worse than we thought he was?
I thought he was pretty bad.
Like as a person?
Yes.
Is he any worse than you thought?
Not to the extent that Angela's worse even than I thought.
That was part 2 for me.
Yeah.
And she is worse than we thought.
She is worse.
It's a whole different level.
Than I even imagined.
Well, I thought Ed, I just thought it was just so poor.
Well, I mean, his whole attitude, he is of low character.
The timeline, and I think we have to thank Emily. Maybe this is another reason why we're glad Emily and Kobe are here, because this gives us the timeline. Emily says she's a month from her due date. Mm-hmm. She had the kid in mid-March. It makes this at least somewhere around mid-February. We know I'm not hiding this anymore because I just can't and talk about this.
Well, she said when she walked in that she was 35 weeks. So that would be 5 weeks from her due date.
That makes sense. So here's what I'm not hiding anymore. Michael left Angela probably 2 weeks after this tell-all. Mm. That is what.
And who could blame him after this? I mean, this is the worst we've ever seen her.
We talked about this.
That's saying a lot because she's been really bad.
In Inside Scoop, we discussed this, and I think now that we've seen this, I'm not as sold that Michael was scamming as I was before.
Yeah. I just can't believe the demeaning way she speaks to him. What are you doing sitting in here? I told you not to get out of my sight. Like, what the heck? Who does she think she's talking to like that? I wouldn't talk to a child that way.
I wouldn't talk to anybody.
I wouldn't talk to anybody subservient to me.
Who do you talk to like that?
Way? Like,
At
who
all?
is she talking to? He's an adult person.
Yeah. I mean, of all of this, Ashley and Manuel seem like, at this point, they're in a good place. And there is a huge time gap between this and the last time we really saw them. Mm-hmm. Liz shows up by herself without Ed. These are the notes I made about the house. There is a fully stocked bar.
And they're liking that.
Yes, they are. Everybody's using that. Makes sense. I mean, it's like the Real Housewives theory of all of this.
Liquor everybody up.
So this house is here, and the people are here on night one. Who are you wanting to hang out with?
Ashley and Manuel.
I don't know about Ashley so much.
I couldn't stand hanging around Lauren and Alex because of Lauren.
Yeah, I would agree.
And definitely not being around Angela. Definitely not being around Ed.
Well, she wasn't there. I'm thinking I want to hang around. I want to go out on the patio with Kobe and Manuel.
Yes.
Because I think Kobe might be genuinely one of the just best and nicest people that we may have seen on the show.
I would agree.
And he's the one. I think you get a little alcohol in him and Manuel.
You're going to have a good time.
I think things are going to be fun. And the trouble is, though, if Ashley's there, it's probably going to lead into some kind of fight with Manuel.
Not necessarily, because that only sparked because her family was there, poking at him.
Yeah, I didn't like all of the questions from everybody about who's sleeping with who, and are you guys doing it? All of this stuff to start when they come in. Like, even when Rob and Sophie came in, the first thing they hit him up with was...
you guys doing it?
Yeah, and I think when I see this, I think Rob could have deflected this a little better. You go, you know what, that's a part of our life that we're just not going to talk about. I would have liked to have seen that versus the, I'm trying, but she won't let me. Mm-hmm. And it came to everybody. And it appears almost nobody's sleeping in the same bed or same bedroom. This house must have 15 rooms.
Yeah, I was wondering. Because when the first person said, I guess it was Gino and Jasmine were the first people to say, I'm not sleeping in the room with you. I was thinking, she said, you better go pick your room, Gino, because this one's mine.
I thought they were initially.
I was thinking, well, they probably just have one bedroom per couple. I wasn't thinking it'd be extra rooms.
This is like a family reunion style house.
Yeah. Oh, it's so nice.
Everybody's coming.
What a vacation.
Yeah. So they're not sleeping together. The surprise is Rob and Sophie aren't sleeping in the same room either.
Well, they broke up.
I understand, but the theory here is they're still friends.
Yeah, but friends don't sleep together.
Yeah, we sleeping. This is a Seinfeld thing. How did sleeping?
They're not going to be friends with benefits. They weren't doing it.
But
when
it
they were
doesn't
together.
matter. This is a Seinfeld Elaine. How did sleeping get mixed up in all of this? The two things have nothing to do with each other, other than they happen in the same place. That's it. You're limited at that point. Nothing else has anything to do with each other. And it sounds like Emily and Kobe may not be sleeping together, because Emily offered Jasmine to come stay in her room. And if Kobe's in there, then where's Kobe going?
Well, that could be because she's 35 weeks pregnant. It gets very uncomfortable.
Well, I understand, but where's Kobe?
He could be on the couch.
That's not good. What we do know is Patrick and Thais might be now the most boring couple. They got nothing going on. Mm-hmm. How nice of them. And I think he said in a horrible way, Patrick said, well, we're better.
Yeah.
What did you think about...
I hate to compare, but...
We're still in the house.
I just compared.
Ed and Liz in this meeting of theirs.
Yeah, that
in the
was
house.
so weird. I was shocked that they hugged for so long. I'd be repulsed by this man after everything they've been through together.
We didn't see the first 40 minutes together, and then we did after. We had a little break while we were making dinner and prepping dinner and that kind of stuff. And so we talked about this a little bit. I told you that I felt that Ed was trying to set things up so that people would be easy on him if they thought there was a chance.
Trying to make himself seem sympathetic.
Yeah, well, that there was a chance that Ed and Liz could get back together here. And so I thought he was setting that up.
Well, he obviously didn't know that she was bringing her man.
That's great. We'll talk about, I guess let's talk about them first. They replayed some of the stuff I'd forgotten about.
Yeah, that was so bad.
Yeah, and then I don't remember the scene. I don't remember it where he told her, "Go back and be a bartender for the rest of your life."
Yeah, that whole interview.
We didn't see that. I don't remember it.
We haven't seen that before.
I don't remember it. And then she says he has.
I thought the same thing.
His parts are small.
Mm-hmm. I think they saved that for the tell-all.
That was kind of funny. I think at this point, Jason seems like a really good person for her.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And maybe you need somebody like that. I mean, I don't know. We don't know anything about this guy. But he really seems like he's pretty boring.
Right.
And
has manners with her mom, which is nice.
Well, even that can be faked, but Ed wouldn't even do the effort of faking.
Right.
That
he wasn't even trying. He's not a chivalrous guy.
No, it's not what he brings to the table. Well, and Liz said it right from the start of the house. This is right now we're starting, and this is all about you. That's what you're doing. Everything's about you, Ed. You.
I miss you.
Yes. So they, at this point, they'd been apart six months is what it was.
Haven't seen or spoken.
Yeah. This whole scene, and Ed's still always in awe about himself. This whole bit about having 3 women hanging all over him.
Oh, I didn't notice.
Like it's normal.
Uh-huh.
Like this is just something that normally happens.
This is what happens. I go in a place and chicks just hang on me.
I didn't know who they were. You know what I would think? It would be like a novelty. Right?
Right.
Let's laugh at the little Ed.
It's like going to the sideshow, in ancient times.
Right.
And taking a picture with the bearded lady, I mean, it's just an oddity, right? It's just like, hey, look, I met the bearded lady. Now it's, hey, look, I met Big Ed.
I think Ed realized in this that he wasn't going to have any allies. So he went to the other villain.
Right.
He went right to
Angela.
Angela.
That.
Angela didn't seem too much to stick. I was waiting for her during the tell-all to really reach out and stick up for Ed.
Well, I couldn't believe Rob was trying to defend him.
It seemed like it a little bit, didn't it?
Yes. I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me.
He qualified it a little bit.
He did
at
a
the
little,
end.
but not enough.
But I think there you just got to be quiet and let Ed. Angela tried to deflect with, I think, that she's still in love with Ed.
Right.
And I think that was Angela's lifeline that she was trying to throw Ed, and it was really more of an attack on Liz.
Right.
She still loves you, I could tell.
She does not.
And I love that, when Michael was trying to give him advice, did you see Angela right there?
Just
shut the F
throwing
up.
daggers.
At him. Oh,
yeah.
Shut up.
You just shut your effing mouth.
Wow. Ed is so snarky with the new guy. Good luck, buddy.
So immature.
You better figure out how to fix her. Ashley's super impressive here. I think she was overbearing in her last tell-all. And I know there wasn't a lot of it here, but she was clear, concise, and on point. Ed's an easy target.
Yeah.
But I think she didn't get
too much.
Yes, it was perfect. Ed, we're listening to this, and all you're talking about is her. after you said it takes two people to have a relationship
Right.
and two people to break it up, but your issues are only about her.
Right.
And her temper. Do we think Liz has a temper?
I'm sure she does.
Yeah, I think so. I'm sure she does. But, we're all pushed in whatever way.
Right. And they obviously trigger each other.
and the guy, Jason, had some feelings. And he threw a couple of things at Ed about the man. Let me tell you something, man to man. It's like, I don't know about man to man. I don't even know who said it, but the only one here by yourself is you. Was it Jasmine?
I think so.
Yeah. The only one here on this thing. And you noticed right away they were sitting in chairs.
Yes.
Everyone else, I think.
Even if they were parted, they were on sofas, and they just sat apart on the sofas, but those two were in separate chairs.
That's good.
That said something.
I noticed as Jason was leaving, I wanted to watch it. I'm glad they showed it at the commercial break, was that when he escorted Liz's mom out of the studio there, that he put his hand on the upper middle, like right behind her neck. And it wasn't guiding her or steering her, but you could tell she was a little
rattled.
Yeah, and because she wanted to give it to Ed. And Sean was already breaking this up, and she interjected with what she wanted to say even more about him going to hell.
Yeah.
So, how about Ed on a dating app a month after?
Wow, that does not surprise me at all. That's who he is.
So you're saying none of this really?
No.
I guess
nothing
you're right.
new about Ed, but his contrast between him trying to play emotional, I miss you, blah, blah, blah.
This was an act?
The night before, yeah. Because then the next day, he's talking to her like she's trash.
Yeah. Yeah, he's trying to manipulate her.
Yes.
That's what he's doing.
Yes. He's emotionally abusing her all over again.
And it looks like...
I'm glad she brought her new guy with her because that really put him in his place.
She's immune to that, it appears.
Yes.
Although it is weakening. Her shield seems to be a bit damaged.
Yes.
But I think this day, hopefully this is shown to us in the way that it's filmed. Like the scenes we saw from the house or from the night before. And then we get it kind of, at least in some kind of real flow of action of how it happens. And what we saw from the preview is where Michael and Angela make it into the house.
Wow.
So I'm assuming there's 2 extra bedrooms there because here they come.
Well, she just came at him from the moment she came in the studio. Before she even saw him, she was already talking about giving it to him.
Yeah, and everybody knew. I mean, Rob, right from the start, was, you know what, I'm not afraid of her. Emily and Ashley were there too. Like, we want to hear Michael's voice. We think that she is just silencing him. And now we finally have a chance to hear it.
Right. We want to hear his story.
So is Angela really mad? Or is she just... She knows that she doesn't have control of Michael anymore.
Yeah, and she's trying to steamroll him.
Yeah.
To keep him quiet.
Her theory is this. Everybody thinks Angela is bad because of Michael. But she
makes herself look bad. We haven't even heard from him.
No.
Because he can't get more than half a word out before she's cutting him off with an F-bomb.
Did you tell them? Oh, I already told them. We had a misunderstanding. Did you tell them? Why don't you tell them, is what she would say. And then he says 2 words.
And then she tells him.
But she didn't say anything.
Right.
At no point did we really hear what this issue was.
No.
All along. And Ed says to her, he should be glad that he's here.
Oh, I couldn't believe that.
You know, what you're taking is gasoline and pouring it on Angela's fire. You're right.
What I said through this whole tell-all multiple times was, man, what I wouldn't give to see Big Ed and Angela get together as a couple. Because in the end, Ed would say how horrible she is, And she would say how horrible he is, and we'd all go, we could have told you both that.
Yeah.
You know?
How about a good assessment of each other? You guys be together for a month.
Right.
Angela and Ed stay in a place for a month.
Mm-hmm.
It could be 24/7, and Statler could sponsor the whole thing in her house. The whole big thing going on literally right now on social media is that Statler saying this is her idea. She's suing, and because the whole everybody in one house thing. You know, they did something like this last season in the bar. They just had him in a bar and not completely in the house. Mm-hmm. It's a natural evolution of that. And every other reality show does this.
Yes.
It's not like it's that big creative idea.
Right.
I'm sure it's been pitched every year for the last 8 seasons. Hey, let's do this.
Well, it's like Summer House.
Well, you know what it is they don't want the liability. There is a liability.
Right.
I mean,
a little bit less of a controlled environment.
This goes into Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip 4.
Yeah. You have a lot of volatile people.
Alcohol.
All together, fueled by alcohol in a confined space.
Multiple nights.
Yeah.
And if you don't know about Bravo's Real Housewives Ultimate Girl Trip 4.
That still hasn't aired.
That's probably been filmed for
so much.
At least
2 years?
Probably 2 years.
So much litigation.
And so there's discussion of Brandy and, who was it, Carolyn Manzo. Of an issue between the two of them that led to Carolyn leaving. Mm-hmm. And so that hasn't aired.
And Brandy was fired.
Yeah, and Carolyn suing. It's a hot mess.
Yeah.
And it's really this scenario.
Yeah.
I think even it's probably a little dangerous, and they probably shouldn't do this that frequently. Mm-hmm. Because you're not too far away. I mean, Angela, with all of this and all these people.
Yeah, I said to you it's a good thing on the preview where they showed her going up the stairs at him. I said it's a good thing there's not a baseball bat in the corner by the staircase, or she might just come at him with it.
You just see her there, though. So I'm assuming that'll be the bulk of what we talk about next week. Mm-hmm. But this whole time, I mean, just her looking at him. Mm-hmm. She just hates him.
Hates him.
I'm not saying he wasn't around that he's been a saint. It's not, it's not St. Michael here.
But she's just so venomous.
Yep.
And volatile and scary.
And let's be honest. So if she's all that upset that he left, she told him to go.
Yeah.
Then go. I don't know how he made it back there.
Yeah.
Maybe he had some stuff he had to get. I think Michael has good long game. And I'm assuming that maybe some of these people pulled him aside at this event.
And gave him some advice.
Said, you got to get out.
Yeah.
And he may already been on his way out. That could already happened. But I can't imagine a point where you could be treated like this.
Yeah, and tolerate it.
Yeah, you can't. He left 1 or 2 weeks after this tell-all. He popped out on February 23rd is when he disappeared.
I feel like if, say, this was happening in a public place,
sure,
and police were called or observed this level of arguing, that they would separate them for the night and make one of them go stay somewhere else.
Sure.
I mean, this is like a step away from domestic violence.
I don't even think it's a step away, because we could probably go back to 4 or 5 episodes where she would have been taken away. Who initiated the contact?
Right.
And if you ask this question, the answer is her.
Yeah.
And it's always her.
Yeah.
And
throwing drinks and whatever.
Yes, taking phones and ripping
smashing
stuff off cars. It's one thing over and over again.
She does seem to be a violent person.
I can't imagine. I think she probably goes and hides most of this time in the house. I don't think she can survive the big room. Ashley's too big for her.
Confrontational.
Yeah, I don't mean big physically.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
She's
too big of a personality.
And she's too strong.
confident
about herself.
Yes.
Ashley knows who she is.
Yes.
And really, think about it. What's really going to happen? You think probably Ashley's spirited behavior hasn't gotten her in an altercation before?
Yeah, I mean,
Really?
Angela. There's no way Angela's getting up in Ashley's face.
Well, you could, but really,
but
what happens?
it's not going to go the way
Yeah, but
she's
what-
been able to steamroll Liz and other people.
I mean, really, what happens? There's production there, so
Yeah,
it's a
they
fight.
get in between and they separate stuff.
There's some punching, hair pulling, but nobody's. I mean, nobody's killing anybody here. So how bad is it really? What are you gonna do? And if you said that to Angela, what do you think would happen? Oh yeah, Angela, you don't like hearing me? What are you gonna do about it? Right?
Uh-huh.
Here she comes. She's just rushing you at this point. She would be so easy to provoke into a violent situation.
Oh, absolutely.
That it's simple. And this preview we
She's
saw
a bully.
that Angela pressures Michael into whatever. And Michael says something like, well, I think all girls are stupid. Right? Because it's what he needs to say to get out of whatever he's in with Angela.
Uh-huh.
And so Angela takes this and uses it against him. Well, Michael said that all you girls are stupid. Did you say that? Did you tell him that? And they all know
Right.
that Michael's just going to say whatever to get out of the situation.
Right.
Scamming, lying, whatever it turns out to be. And I think it's probably somewhere in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking Michael had a backdoor plan.
Sure.
Because this is crazy.
Yeah. Nobody would tolerate being treated that way.
No. It's what we expected, but I think it's even worse than I thought.
Yes.
You said it all along. You wanted to see Michael here to see this.
Right. Because I knew that's what would happen. Because she doesn't have the control that she had long distance, which you'd think it would be the opposite. But she wasn't observing his everyday behavior and people walking past him in a store or somebody he goes to work with. Or, I knew that just the daily contact with other females that happens normally, walking down the street or a neighbor
Picking
waves
up,
hello.
Well, it's Gino and Jasmine.
Right, picking up takeout,
Yeah.
and, paying the waitress and
You were going-
whatever.
Did you tip her?
Yeah, she's just not in control,
Hmm.
and it's just overwhelming to her, and she loses her mind.
Yeah. Completely.
And I knew that that's how it would be because she was so controlling from far away. She
Yeah.
would never want him to leave the house because she wouldn't want him to meet anybody.
Yeah, Nicole and Mahmoud only got a brief reference here.
Yeah.
Nothing really about
We
them.
wish them well. Moving on.
That was it. I'm surprised they were on the season at all.
Mm-hmm.
Just because the timeline didn't match up.
Yeah.
But maybe they couldn't have shortened it.
They probably needed a filler.
So it probably added a week to the show with all of their little bits.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. Your feelings of Lauren and Alex when they come in? Does she just generally...
She rubs me the wrong way now.
And it wasn't like that until I think they had their second child,
Yes,
right?
right.
That was it. It was the woe is me.
Yes.
I got all these kids.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
call her Eeyore is what I think
Yeah.
I probably refer to her as. Two by two or
Just
two
everything
before
is
two.
about her. And everything for her is so different than it is for the rest of America. It's like, I'm just tired of it.
And she seems to have a bit of her mother in her.
Yes.
And you see that, look, Ed's an easy target, and if you're going to go after somebody, I think it would probably be good for you to go after Ed because he's that bad.
Right.
Lauren's probably not going after Angela.
Right.
And Lauren should be
chewed
afraid.
up and spit out.
Would be afraid of her. Of the other couples, Rob and Sophie, this seems like a mess. The preview with them that we saw is probably pretty good. But I think it still falls in line with everything we know about them. Patrick and Thais, I don't even know. They're just here. Hopefully John comes.
Yes.
Maybe on night 2, and they really party down.
Yeah, that would be great.
And that would be something.
I was hoping he'd
The party
be around.
is here. They should, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because say what you want. It's
He
like,
was a significant part of this season.
I mean, John's been in more scenes. I know Veronica he had a single life about him too. So John's a part of the team.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you get on social media so often that, well, these people aren't. Like Liz isn't a 90-day person. But she is. Like Veronica is. Like John is. You're in it or you're not. I don't think you have to be on a B90 or a 90-day season to be in the fold of the group. How about Gino's family?
Yes. And you know what? It's 100% exactly what I expected. I said, the first thing I said to you when they said, let's bring out his cousin, and they named him and his wife, Michelle, I went out loud to you, they like Jasmine. And they've been sympathetic to her. And at no point since they actually met her in person and got to know her have they been not on her side, because they've seen them together enough to know Gino's doing her wrong. So, I'm not surprised that they just threw him under the bus, because it's the truth. He had it coming.
I would like somebody to ask Jasmine a question about like her kids and the timeline and all of that. I would like to have that happen. But I don't know that we're ever going to get that.
Yeah, I would like somebody to ask Gino how he feels about the fact that even his own family is not on his side. Does that tell him anything? What does he take from that?
Yeah. They're pretty quick. It's not even close.
And he just shakes his head. No, the entire time they're speaking. Whatever they got to say, it's no, that's not how it is. So he has no acknowledgement whatsoever for what he's doing wrong.
Yeah, I think that's hard for him to sit there. But I think he's oblivious to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it matters.
Well, just like he's oblivious to whatever his problems are.
Yeah, you talked about that timeline a little bit from when we first knew him. That
yes. I said when he first went to see her the first time, don't I recall him packing his little blue pills to go meet her on the first trip?
Yeah, and
yes.
this, I think...
So he already had some kind of issue.
This is probably 3 years ago or so.
And they weren't fighting then.
No.
He was anticipating needing help.
I mean, people have ED. This could, I guess, be a thing.
But at no point has he claimed that that's an issue.
With the... well, you're right there. But he's not honest, right?
And he's your age.
Yeah, but people my age have those issues.
Sure, but he doesn't claim that that's
his problem.
He blames her. And obviously it's not her, because he went and met her anticipating needing help.
Yeah. 8 months seems like quite a while.
Yeah, and especially because they haven't even been married a year yet.
And then he says maybe 4 to 5. I love Alex's comment.
Right, that's no better.
Yeah, it doesn't make it better at all. I didn't need to hear his cousins talk about makeup sex. That was a scene I probably could have. The interesting theory here, and I don't remember who brought it up, but it was that, and it may have been Alex, that said, is it possible that you see her coming when it comes to you guys getting along well? And it could be even her scooting over next to him on the couch. We're watching something, we're laughing, everything's going well, and then he sees, it's about to go down.
Yeah.
And then he picks a fight with her.
And I could definitely see that. I doubt she's lying about that.
Yeah. He's got real issues.
He does.
And there could be a real problem. I think for me, it's the credit thing that he's looking for.
Yes, constantly.
It rubs me the wrong way.
And it rubs her the wrong way.
You could see the other Americans getting into, this is a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't a small thing that he's doing here.
But he has nothing else going on.
How much work could it be?
Somebody started to ask him that. Well, what do you do with your time all day? Because he hasn't worked in almost a year.
Because really, what is it? I mean, legitimately, a bunch of forms.
Right.
Let's call it...
And documentation.
Let's call it 100 forms and 50 pieces of paper you've got to produce. Birth certificates, marriage certificates, whatever. Let's call it that. 100 papers you have to fill out and 50 documents you have to provide.
I'll tell you what's a lot of paperwork.
I'm just...
Try managing a lawsuit for a personal injury.
Right, but sure. But it's still just a number.
Right. And that was a lot to manage.
Yeah.
A lot to track and medical bills and who paid
but
what.
But it's still just a thing.
But it wasn't a full-time job. I had a whole life happening at the same time.
I think that's what I'm getting at,
right.
is that this isn't that much.
Right.
It would be this much if you had another life.
But he doesn't.
And he's not even willing to really take her to the gym.
Right. 10 minutes is too far.
I mean, this is...
To make 2 trips.
In rush hour, I think rush hour Canton is like, for me, like rush hour kind of Monroe.
Uh-huh.
It would probably take you double the time to get up Monroe Street, between 4 and 6 o'clock.
So maybe 20 minutes.
You're sitting,
10.
but you're sitting through, what it is you're sitting through 3 lights.
Right.
I mean, that's what it turns out to be. I mean, you were there once. Yeah. It's that kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
It's not like you're on the highway.
It's not like DFW.
No, it's not that. I mean, it's not D.C. It's not New York. It's not faster to walk. And so when he has nothing to do...
Yeah. And when she's at the gym, if he want to make 2 trips, he could sit outside the cafe and read the paper, or I guess he could watch his porn.
Maybe he could do that.
Or, have a coffee or whatever. He wouldn't even necessarily need to go back home. For what? What's he got going on?
Yeah, in his American football, whatever this is, it doesn't happen that frequently, right? You have a little 6-hour block on Sunday. You have a Monday night, a Thursday night. There's just not that much going on. I guess there's college, but there's just not that much. It was a big year for the Lions, though. I do have to say, if she's trying to interfere with this run that the Lions were on last season, she probably ought to back down. Things had to be a little crazy in that area for American football because for that area, Michigan won the national championship in college. Pretty crazy run they had there. And the Lions, you kind of know it. Yeah, and they're never close. Like historically, it would be worse than Cleveland, but Cleveland didn't have a team for a big hunk of the window that was there. So there aren't too many teams that have never been to a Super Bowl, and the Lions are one of them. It would have been really crazy around there during, I would say, November through January. So she might be a little burned out on American football. I think I understand that completely. Even in Texas, I was on fire for Michigan.
Yes.
Lions and Wolverines. So there's that. But he wants credit for all of this stuff when it would be like us. It would be like, I need you to thank me for going to work every day. Could you do that? Oh, Steve, thank you. When I come home. Thank you for going to work today. It just doesn't work that way, right? I mean, we do thank each other for stuff.
Yes.
And I don't think it's something that we do lightly.
No, we definitely acknowledge each other's role in our existence.
But if for some reason I forget to thank you for a meal,
I
don't think you're throwing me in the other room.
No.
Like, you're out of here. You haven't said thank you to me in 3 days for preparing your meals.
I notice if you do it. I don't notice if you don't do it. If that makes sense.
I think I do. You don't expect it.
No, right.
I'm thankful I don't have to do it. Like, I helped tonight.
Yeah, you did help
And by
tonight.
helping would mean there's all the stuff's prepped.
Yeah, we had a meal kit from Home Chef.
And I think the most troubling thing for
And
me,
I prepped it first.
I think it said to remove the stem from the basil. Is that what that was? Basil?
Uh-huh.
And so,
I'm not sure what, because I didn't look at that one.
I don't know
what herb it was.
yeah, but this confused me a lot. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah,
So I
you
just
never
needed
done anything like that.
take these little pieces off of there. That was the most troubling thing for me.
But I prepped everything else.
Yeah, so I just had to do that during that 40-minute period where we weren't together. You were prepping yourself for the evening, and so it was either you do that and come out and then do dinner, and tonight's a mess already for Sundays. And so we try to do multiple things at a time.
Yeah, and I tried to discourage you. I said, you don't really want to do that. And you're like,
Well, I didn't.
No, I'll do it.
Right? It's greater good.
Because it was your idea.
Yeah, because I got to get to bed at some point this evening. I mean, that's really the target. I mean, I want to say I wasn't trying to help you, but the goal is that I get in bed by midnight. Because 5 o'clock comes awfully early.
Yeah.
So that was still my goal. How do we make this better? And you would have just been mad at me if I'm just pacing over you. Are you ready to record yet? Are you ready to record yet? And then if I did do that, there would be no chance of anybody seeing each other naked around here anytime soon. It's something that she said that she's never...
That's bizarre.
Yeah, and we're not going to get descriptive about us. Nobody wants to hear that. But you think it would just be random...
Especially when you're first married.
Yeah,
they
a
said
shower,
they never
a
showered
bath.
together.
It seems odd.
That's weird.
Yeah. I'm not saying stuff has to happen, but, you know. Well, you know. That's all I'm saying, right?
Yeah, even if nothing happens, like you just want to spend all your time together when you first marry.
Right.
You do everything together.
Not them. She showed up with her sash on.
Yeah,
I thought that was good. I forget what Patrick called it. I don't know what it was. But
Stash.
Stash.
He said stash.
I don't know what the heck that was.
And they corrected him, Sash.
These two.
He thought that was pretty funny.
I guess for us,
He
you know,
likened it to his baseball trophy. That was funny.
She brought it.
From Little League.
That's weird, though, right? Isn't it weird that she brought this?
Yes and no. I mean, she was proud of it, so, and she is on TV. It was her opportunity to show it off, I guess. Look what I got.
I guess so. Who knows?
It did make her feel good. She was proud of it.
Yeah. Who knows? But this is just regular stuff that he's doing. I mean, so they probably used 90-day money to pay for the pageant, or who knows, pageant. The show could even have paid for it, because they got nothing on these guys.
Yeah.
Something holding them together, because it isn't them.
No.
They've
gotten really ugly together. Like they don't even like each other anymore.
Yeah, and I think we're going to find, like, during all of this, you'll see, like, Ashley and Manuel are fine with each other.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like we saw it.
It's the way Gino looks at Jasmine. It's not with love.
You said he has this tell that he does.
Yeah, he does. He sticks his tongue, like, in his cheek and does this mouth movement like he's got a dry mouth.
Yeah. He's like he's licking his teeth.
Yeah, when he's put on the spot or nervous. Yeah.
So it looked like porn that he was looking at, it was probably somebody's private or OnlyFans or something.
Because it sounded like it was a prostitute or escort that he had used in the past.
Well, to me it sounded like another sugar daddy thing, and this was a person he met on the site, and she's got some kind of OnlyFans or something is what it seemed like to me.
He used to pay her for services before they met, and why look at her stuff, because they've been together.
Yeah, what a mess.
So it's like a paid escort that he's had services from in the past, and then he's looking at this person that he's been intimate with.
Yeah.
That is kind of messed up.
I mean, we had so much meat here. I guess we don't get. How many episodes do you think this tell-all will be after seeing the first one?
Possibly 3, but definitely at least 2.
Oh, there's definitely 3. I just wonder if there's a 4th.
I don't think so.
Well, it's because this house stuff.
Yeah, but it looks like maybe they're going to alternate back and forth.
Ed and Liz are wrapped up, right?
Yeah.
So that'll be the case.
That's the only couple we've gone completely through.
Gino and Jasmine could be.
They could be done, but I think there'll be more.
And none of them, other than Angela and Michael, really have meat.
Uh-huh.
I mean, this Rob and Sophie thing is going to be a mess. Ashley Manuel is frivolous and pointless. I mean, same thing. Patrick and Thais, this really isn't a thing other than...
Lexi and Lauren could get ugly.
Yeah, I wonder how the other ladies are going to react to Lauren.
I don't think it'll go well.
I don't know. I think you're kind of limited into Lauren gets to do what she wants to do, right? And so I don't think anybody can really take it's a very difficult stand to be critical of Lauren of wanting to improve her body image. It's a tough position. It's rough, right? Because she gets to do what she wants with her body. So it's hard. It's a hard position to take.
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, I get it, but it's still a hard one. I can't take that position.
I mean, saying you want to go to the gym and eat healthier is one thing. To improve your body image.
I get it.
It's another thing to say I want to keep having plastic surgery.
I know. It's a hard position. It's one that I'm not comfortable taking.
And it's not just about her physical stuff. It's about her priorities changing.
Well, this is
the position that this puts Alex and the marriage
no
in.
one's going to side with them, right? None of the women are going to take that position.
I would.
Well, I think you're kind of different. You know what I mean? That's why people don't like us. But it is hard, right? Because it's a conventional role. It goes back to Ethan and Olivia.
Yeah.
On Welcome to Plathville.
Yeah.
It's like when one of the two people change.
Yeah.
You would want everybody to change together and move down a path, and it's convenient and easy when that happens. It's when you're not moving together. It's when Olivia changes 180 degrees.
Yeah, when you change so much.
And Ethan didn't
and
at
you're
all.
not the person married.
Well,
anymore.
This is the risk of Lauren at this point.
And that's what I'm saying.
This isn't our agreement.
Right.
I want to change the agreement. So what do?
Yeah, this is a problem.
And Alex is like, I want to be on your side.
But she's doubling down.
She did
and
double
wanting
down.
more and more and more and more and more.
Yeah, that was a problem.
Like, she's not really compromising. She's like, well, this is how it's going to be.
Yeah.
You got to come along for the ride. Now, I don't think that's fair.
So I don't know how this is going to go down.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see.
Alex is not going to... It's just really hard to come out of this.
I'd also be interested to see how her mother responds in this.
Well, we know her mom. Right, I mean, if her mom would have been no surgery at all. I mean, this is just who she is.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that's a big shocker. And I think her mom is a horrible... Well, I think she's just... We know who her mom is, right? So I think that's it. I look forward to... I would like to have seen as much of this in-house footage.
Yes.
They probably can't show me enough. We could stay out of the studio.
Yes.
And let us just stay there and let the alcohol flow and let us see who everybody really is.
I was honestly hoping that the whole first episode was going to be the traditional studio hosted thing.
And then
all the rest would be in the house.
I like this introduction a bit.
Yeah.
I wanted Michael to come into the house instead of...
I want to be done with the studio stuff now. I want all the rest to be in the house.
Yeah, I get it. I can't argue with you. I like to see, like, Sean show up at the house and everybody sit out in the backyard by the fire.
Yeah.
And let's do a fireside chat.
Uh-huh.
But the trouble is that people could just get up and leave.
Uh-huh.
And they can get up, but they're still at the studio and they still pull them out.
Right.
And you got to come back. Here, they're just going to run off to their room, grab a bottle of wine, and go to their room. So, no, I think that was enough. I mean, this is kind of fun. This was different, so I think we're happy about that. We will surely keep watching. I mean, there's surely going to be 3, if not 4 episodes, so we'll see how that goes. For us, we are covering, these are other shows that we are currently covering by subscription now. We are covering 60 Days In, A&E show. We're covering Inmate to Roommate, also an A&E show. We are covering Welcome to Plathville. We are also covering, and it just never ends, The Other Way. We are covering by subscription. We do a personal podcast, and then the fun thing that we do on the weekend is Inside Scoop, where we bring you rumor, innuendo,
and current news.
Yes, and current news. So we did probably spoil a couple of things here, but at this point, I don't think we spoiled anything that happens during the show.
Yeah, but I'm surprised you mentioned or alluded to the Statler thing, because that really is Inside Scoop.
Yeah, but that's still nothing special, right? I mean, that's a story we cover. And we've talked about Statler's position on this being her idea before. But I think because it's real, she's doing it now, really, as we're recording. There's just a constant flow of a rant going on about this is my idea, and I should be paid for it. I've had all sorts of great ideas. So, for us, that's it. We wish that you have a wonderful week, a wonderful, productive week. We haven't mentioned it recently, but if you're able to foster dogs, visit your local shelter. The neat thing is you can foster a dog and not necessarily adopt it.
Right.
You can foster a dog for a period of time to free up space for other dogs.
Yep.
You can foster dogs that are going to be transported to another area. Right. You can foster a dog until they are healthy and well, and then you can take them to events to get them adopted.
Right.
So it's a wonderful...
You can even just do a day out just to give them stress relief from the kennel environment.
You can take a dog to the ice cream parlor and get them an ice cream.
Yeah. Pup cup.
Yeah, so that happens. You can do all that. Have a wonderful rest of the week.
Thank you for listening.
You can listen to additional episodes
by subscribing to our Coupled with Chaos channel on Apple,
by subscribing to our Patreon,
or by subscribing to our Supercast
for $3.99 a month,
where you can hear us talk about reality shows,
real life, and more on our podcasts,
covering shows airing on TLC, A&E, Bravo, and the WE Network.
Just follow the instructions in the show notes.
Tell your friends about this podcast.
And rate and review us on your favorite podcast player.
Follow us at Coupled with Chaos on all the socials.
Or contact us directly by email at coupledwithchaos@gmail.com.